Heidi-ho YouTube, Major Cord here, coming at you today with I guess you could say, a review of a sharpening implement. I'm not even going to put this under my Sharpening Up series of videos because, quite frankly, it's not something that I can wholeheartedly recommend for regular use, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, it is this Smith's Pocket Sharpener. Where's my focus zone? There it is. Yes, the Smith's Pocket Pal sharpener, and as you can see, it's one of these standard ceramic and carbide pull-through sharpeners. Now, anyone who's into knife collecting, knife usage, basically if you're a knife fanatic like I am, will tell you to never, ever, ever use one of these. Whether it's Smith's, Gerber, any company, any design like this, not to use it. Basically because these will chew up your knives. They don't provide a really strong edge. They may get it temporarily sharp, but the edge they provide is thin, it's jagged, it's fragile. So really, these are not the best type of sharpener to use. Now, when I first got into knives, this was the first sharpener I bought just because I didn't know any better. I didn't have the skills to really sharpen my knives like I do now. So I bought this, and I've still kept it. And now, this goes in my car emergency kit. So, in the limited role that I keep it there, this is an excellent tool. And I'm going to explain why. That's why I'm basically giving this little review here. In that limited use role, for the tools that I have in that emergency kit, I keep a lower quality multi-tool. I think it's a Sheffield branded tool. And a lower quality knife, nothing spectacular. And the hard use that I could expect to put those through, if they were to dull on me, I'm not going to have the time, or I can assume the dexterity to take out, say, some ceramic rods or, another type of sharpening kit and re-hone those knives. In my backpack and other places, I do keep, small ceramic rods and whatnot just to touch up edges if I really do need to, although in my normal everyday carry use, I really don't. I don't abuse my knives that much that I've ever found them to dull on a day-to-day use. Usually just at the end of the day, some stropping will take care of any damage that I put into the blade. But those tools that I keep in that particular kit, I can assume that if I have to use them, I'm going to have to use them hard. And there's a pretty good chance that they will dull because, they're not the highest quality materials, obviously. And I generally prepare that kit for cold weather. Because around here in Western New York, I assume that if something's going to go down where my car is going to be in trouble or, a bad accident where it will occur, my car is going to break down, whatever, it's going to happen in the winter. So that's the quote-unquote disaster that I am preparing for. And as such, I'm assuming I'm going to be in gloved hands, it's going to be cold, I'm going to lose some dexterity, and I am not going to have the ability to take out ceramic rods and do perfect, angled strokes. Therefore, a tool like this is perfect. Given that those, the knife that I keep in there and the multi-tool with the blade that I keep in there are essentially disposable items anyway, I don't care the condition of the edges on those. I don't care if I really fuck them up, essentially. So, really, this is the perfect little tool for that bag. It weighs next to nothing. It doesn't take up a ton of space. And over the years that I've used it, I've found that it doesn't really do too much damage to blades. Yeah, the carbide will chew up your blades. It's going to well, I shouldn't say that. It will remove a lot of metal. But the angle that it's set at, it's not like it's going to totally destroy your blades. Over time, you're going to lose a lot of metal along your edge. But if you just constantly use the ceramic to re-hone and touch up your edge, you should be fine. I'm not exactly sure which angles these are set at. It's probably about 40 degrees, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But overall, I found this to be a very high-quality tool. It also, and this is one of the reasons I like it, comes with a small diamond rod here. And I found this to be really good for touching up and maintaining serrations. So, whereas most of the ceramic rods I have are too small to get into really deep serrations, this thing does it just fine. And I still use this to touch up the very few serrated knives that I own. So, at the time I bought this, I think I found it at Walmart for maybe $10. It's still about that same price, I think. And now most people know how to use this, but I'll just demonstrate it quick with this really cheap, crappy Pakistani penknife. So cheap and crappy, in fact, that you can see there's a distinct curvature to the back spring. I'm not exactly sure how safe that is, but obviously I'm not going to use this on one of my better blades. I've kind of evolved past that, but let's check the sharpness of this now, just on some lined paper. So as you can see, it's okay, but we'll see if we can make it better. Just a couple pulls through the carbide. And touch up on the ceramic. I have no idea how well it's going to work on this cheap steel, but we'll see. There we go. So, I mean, yeah, and it feels sharper than it obviously seems to perform, but this knife was probably a very poor choice to demonstrate with. But in the limited role that I keep this in, it performs very well. If you're going to use this to maintain your general use pocket knives, I would highly persuade you to find another option. You know, the Lansky Turnbox, which is what I use for my regular sharpening needs, combined with a Stropman strop or just any leather strop. With that, you have a sharpening system that maybe costs $30. You know, you could upgrade to maybe a Spyderco Sharpmaker. You could do any number of more proficient and less damaging sharpening systems. But if you're looking for something small and cheap to throw in a kit that you don't mind, you know, possibly causing some damage to the blades of your knives, the Smith's Pocket Pal is definitely something to look into. It's higher quality than some other pull-through sharpeners that I've seen, and it has that diamond rod on it, which I think is definitely a nice little addition if you're going to be messing around with serrations. So, thank you very much for watching. Take care.